Hello, and welcome to another episode of Alkira's Design Zone video series. This is a follow-up of our China CXP launch that we did a few months back. Today, we are actually going to talk about an actual customer deployment, along with an overview of our functionality and the value that the China CXP brings for our customers. My name is Misbah Rahman, and I'm a Senior Director in Product Management. With me, I have our solution architect who have worked on different China deployment with our customers, Katie. Katie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks, Misbah. I'm Katie Sikora. I'm a solutions architect at Alkira, and I'll be covering the customer journey with you today.
Thanks, Katie. So in terms of China connectivity, first of all, let's take an overview of what this is all about. With the launch of China CXP, we are enabling our customer to connect their workloads in China along with their users, their on-prem sites, and also leverage Alkira's marketplace to add security. So basically, the experience that you get globally, now we are introducing the same experience with the launch of China CXP for our China deployments for our customers. Along with the CXP in China, customer can also leverage this feature and extend their connectivity from China to global region. Today, when a customer wants to extend connectivity from China to elsewhere, they have to work with local providers within China. It also comes with a lot of regulatory restrictions that applies to connectivity when you want to extend outside of China. With Alkira's offering, now you can only work with Alkira. There is a single vendor that you work with. You deploy your resources in China with the China CXP, and also Alkira can front end all that regulatory and compliance requirements on top of it. So Alkira can work with the local providers within China. And from your perspective, there is only one throat to choke. You only work with Alkira, for which you can have your deployments done or connectivity done within China, and you can extend connectivity. From a user experience perspective, you will work with a single management portal. Typically, whenever you work with a solution, when you want to deploy in China and global region, there are typically two isolated solutions. You will have one management portal to manage your rest of the network. You will have another management portal or completely different deployment in China region. The experience that the customer typically gets is as if they are working with two different networks, and those two different networks are stitched together somehow to extend the connectivity. And we wanted to solve that problem. With a single pane of glass, you get single management interface to manage, to configure, and operate your network. It gives you a feel that along with your all the global region, China is just another region which is part of your network. And at the same time, we do not bypass and overlook any of the compliance requirement. So we want to make sure that whatever you are doing is allowed from a China perspective, from their regulations perspective. So you get the outcome is you get a single management portal along with all the compliance requirements that are met. Along with the unified management portal, another advantage that our customer gets is how we do the cross-border connectivity. Typically, it's a very painful process. Customer have to work with the 3Cs directly. They have to get into multiple contracts to extend connectivity, along with the deployment hassle that they have to take care of it for China and global connectivity. With Alkira, since it's offered as a service, you can go simply to our management portal, deploy these CXPs in China and global regions. When you deploy these CXPs within each of those regions, they connect in a full mesh fashion. For instance, all the global CXPs on the left-hand side will connect in a full mesh fashion. And even on the China side, it's the exact replica. Like all the China region CXPs will connect in a full mesh fashion. Now, if you want to extend connectivity between the CXPs, you can work directly with Alkira, where Alkira can help you facilitate that connectivity working with the 3C providers locally. So from your perspective, from your experience, from a customer experience perspective, it's only one entity that they are working with to deploy their infrastructure and also to deploy their cross-border connectivity, which is Alkira in this case. Another option is in case if a customer doesn't want Alkira to be working on this cross-border connectivity and they already have a pre-established relationship with any of the 3C provider, they can work directly with the 3C providers and bring that connectivity to have this cross-border connectivity. So another benefit that you get with Alkira solution is the internet connectivity, which is also extremely regulated. But at the same time, from an enterprise customer perspective, you still have requirement to reach to certain site legally in order to do your day-to-day work. The perfect example is Google Suite, the YouTube for your own internal training and all that. If you want to exit out natively from China, it's blocked by default. So you need a solution that can allow those traffic legally. Now, using Alkira's China connectivity or interconnectivity with China, you have the option to send all your default traffic from your China region to Alkira. And Alkira has the intelligence built into the solution where it can send all your China bound internet traffic to a link while send your global internet traffic to a global CXP that is connected to like on that cross-border link. So from an enterprise perspective, if you have any applications that you are using for your enterprise productivity, like again, Google Suites, other application, you can leverage this solution where we can take care of all your regulation and compliance requirements and adhere to it from a China regulation perspective and provide you a seamless connectivity to internet, whether it's going to global internet and China internet. Now, this is all the functionality that I talked about that we offer out of the box as part of our China CXP offering. But proof is in the pudding. Like the validation comes from customer deployment, the customers and not just customer doing POCs, but actual production deployment where we are carrying all those use cases in an actual customer production deployment. Katie, as I talked about, have done several deployments when it comes to helping customers extending their connectivity from China to global region. And we definitely share that experience with you guys so that you can see how we are helping our customers today with this functionality. Katie, why don't you take over?
Thanks, Misbah. Yeah, let me talk through one of my customers' deployments and their journey on connecting their China deployment to their larger Alkira infrastructure. So this customer had a very common deployment in Alkira. They had CXPs deployed in multiple regions. I have one regional CXP in detail here. They have 2 firewalls deployed in each CXP. That's protecting all the traffic from their on-prem via direct connect and IPsec tunnels to and from their cloud connectivity in AWS and Azure, and also their internet-bound traffic out to the internet. This customer also had a China deployment that was not connected to Alkira. They wanted to extend the simplicity that they were experiencing with their Alkira deployment to this China region. So this customer had a China deployment that was unstandard from the rest of their global network. The rest of their global network was connected to Alkira, and they found a lot of simplicity, visibility, and ease of management with Alkira. And they wanted to bring that simplicity and that standardization of deployment to this China region. The existing China deployment that they had, they were really struggling with compliance and regulation within the country. It was very expensive. They couldn't guarantee performance across this network because they had no visibility and they had no control from their branch offices to their cloud connectivity, and they had no visibility of traffic entering and leaving China in general. In working with this customer, we came up with a migration plan to integrate their existing China deployment to their standard Alkira deployment that they had globally deployed across all other parts of the world. So how did we do this migration? So first, what we did, we stood up that Beijing CXP. We connected that Beijing CXP to a CXP in Singapore, leveraging a cross-border link through one of the 3Cs. That cross-border link provides a breakout functionality, which selectively sends China domains or China destinations directly out to the China internet while leveraging their private connectivity or the Asia Pac CXP for all other traffic. So within the Beijing CXP, we then deployed a pair of firewalls. These firewalls are deployed exactly the same as all the other firewalls in their environment. These are managed by their consistent management platform, which was Panorama. These were Palo firewalls. And the same zones are used consistently across all regions, across this entire environment. We then were able to connect their China offices directly to the Beijing CXP. Those were associated to the trust zone on the firewall. Then we migrated their cloud networks from AWS and Azure to the CXP in Beijing. After doing this, it eliminated the reliance on their China data center, and all cross-regional traffic from China to the larger global deployment traversed that cross-border link that's facilitated by Alkira. So now this whole deployment is in line with the rest of their global deployment on Alkira. This gives them full visibility, full manageability of their entire environment in China and outside of China through a single portal and management platform. Now I want to quickly go through just some traffic flows so you guys get an idea of the traffic patterns going in and out of this China deployment. So for a China office that is accessing those China workloads in AWS and Azure, that'll flow directly through the Beijing CXP. For traffic from the China offices to cloud workloads outside of China, that'll leverage that cross-border link to access those resources. For users in the China office that are accessing China internet domains, that will flow through the cross-border link and be broken out by the provider and directly go out to the China internet. And similarly, traffic going to non-China internet domains such as YouTube, Facebook would leverage a cross-border link, go out the CXP in the other region, this would be Singapore, to connect to those destinations. And finally, for private connectivity, for users in the China offices accessing corporate resources that are outside of China on the larger global deployment, it would use the cross-border link and then Alkira's backbone to exit out the Alkira CXP closest to where that destination is. All right, thanks. Misbah?
Thank you, Katie, for walking us through the customer journey when it comes to extending connectivity from China to the global region. It's always great to see the validation and the value that we can bring to the customers with the features and the functionality we launch. We take pride in providing customers a very robust and a comprehensive network platform that can take care of any enterprise connectivity needs. That includes China as well. So if you have a requirement or if you're having issues with your connectivity, performance, and efficiency, managing and deploying your network, do reach out to us, and we would love to help you out with your initiatives. You can check our website on www.alkira.com or reach out to us at sales@alkira.com. Thanks for watching.